4. I'm hoping it's working. Welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. Yep, it seems to be working. Sorry, just pulled the camera out of pulled my thing out of my thing there so I could see if it was working. Hello, I'm here to share with you a lovely card I designed to feature the beautiful butterflies suite. I'd love to show you the card that inspired this card that I've created. I actually used one of the cards in the catalogue as my starting point to get me started making my card featuring the butterflies. Let me just find, here they are. So my card here has been inspired by this card here. I've changed up the colour and also changed up the orientation of my little pieces of white. But basically you can see that it's the same card. So let's get started. I'm going to choose my stamps that I will use, and I've got the happy birthday because really that's the stamp we use most of all, isn't it? That's the sort of cards we mostly send. I'm just lining up my happy birthday on my grid here so that it's nice and straight for when I pop it on my stamp. And then I'm also using my little butterfly. And then the next favourite stamp I'm using is these super cute little dots, and I'll get a little block for them, those little dots. There we go. Okay, I'll pop that aside and that one aside there. So let's get our bits and pieces out for our card here. I'm using Blueberry Bushel and Balmy Blue as my stamp colours. I've got my card here already scored. Now I made a mess. It was sitting in an envelope, and with the humidity we've had in Queensland, it's stuck to the envelope. But thank goodness I'm going to cover the entire front of my card with this beautiful bokeh paper that comes with the beautiful butterflies suite in the mini catalogue. I'm just going to put my front of my card all over there, hide that little mess that happened, that little accident, and no one will ever know. There we go. So that's that bit done, and I've got my other piece of bokeh for inside my card here. I'll just pop that down the side there to continue the theme, and because I didn't want to waste the leftover bokeh paper, so I'll pop you down there. There we go. So there's my card front done. Now it's up to the stamping. I've got my 3 little pieces and my piece for inside my card. Now I am going to get a piercing mat to give me a better stamping surface to stamp my beautiful butterflies on, because the photopolymer stamps don't have any foam on them, so they need a little bit more give sometimes when you're using them on a hard surface. So I'm just going to stamp my butterflies. That one right off, because I want to fit my, actually I will try to fit my happy birthday, see if it does fit there, because I might have to. Oh yes, it's going to fit. Happy birthday. Oops. Let's do that one again, shall we? Happy birthday. And then stamp my butterfly again over there, and last of all there. And then actually one more stamping while those ones are drying off over there. I just re-inked my ink pad, so it's very, very juicy. I'm going to stamp a couple more butterflies for inside the card, because you have to have butterflies inside as well. Okay, and with my Balmy Blue, I'll come back with my dotty stamp and do lots of little lovely bokeh dots inside and on each of my little pieces here. I'm stamping them repeatedly as well. And the best thing about little dots is that they're brilliant for covering up any little fingerprints or messy bits you've got on your stamping. There we go. And that's all my stamping done. I'll pull you off and just give my piercing mat a bit of a rub there. so that it's dry for next time. And then the next thing I'm going to do, this is actually, as you can see, a very simple card. It was one of the cards we had at our butterfly class last week. I'm going to add some colour, and the colours I'm using are Pool Party, Petal Pink, and some Night of Navy and Azure Afternoon, the light ones, just to give a little bit of different colour. So I'm just going to do a couple of bits of, all my butterflies will be different, but I will make sure that they are symmetrical on either side of their wings, but I'll do different pieces on each butterfly. There we go. And some there. And I'm using the brush tip of my stamping blends. I find that easier. It gets down more ink fairly quickly. And I like that extra bit of ink that it gives. There we go. And in you, one there, okay. And then some Pool Party. Oh, my Pool Party's had a bit of a hiding. I might have to use the brush tip on this one because it's looking a bit well used after the class last week, I think. And a bit more here, a bit more here, and another one there. There we go. Just find it so much quicker to colour with the brush tip, don't you? And I chose my colours based on, first of all, using the Balmy Blue bokeh paper here. And then I tried to choose colours. I love working in a monochrome. Monochrome just makes it so much easier to do things. It takes all of the hard thinking about what to choose out of the equation. But when I was colouring them in originally, I didn't have the petal pink, and I thought it just needed a little bit of extra something or other to zhuzh it up a bit. But I didn't want to add too many colours because then it would get too challenging for me. Oops, I just put colour where I shouldn't have. Wonder if anyone will notice. You didn't notice, did you? Okay. A little bit of Night of Navy, just a tiny bit here and there, just to add a bit of extra colour. I love the way that these stamping blends have the names written on them. It really does make it very helpful when I'm using them to make sure, one, that I've got the colours that I want to get, and also, whoops, easy for me to tell people in classes what colours I've used. And then my Azure Afternoon, which is a lovely blue. And you can see I've kept going with the stamping blends for all of these colours. Whoops. Thanks for hanging out with me while I'm colouring in. I hope you've had a chance to do some colouring in today. It is a lovely thing to do, just to take time out of the world. I'm going to cover you up. And a few bits on this one. And I have found that using the stamping blends on the glass mat really helps with the colouring, with the colour being much brighter. And there's two I forgot. The last butterfly, and then you'll be able to see it all come together. Except if I notice, like I just did there, I've got a fingerprint, so I'm going to come back and stamp that with my little dotty stamp to camouflage my fingerprint that I don't want to be on my card. There we go. And where's my dotty stamp and my balmy blue ink? Here it is. Any other bits I need to cover up? This one and this one. And that's looking okay now. Thank goodness for dotty stamps. They do amazing things in fixing mistakes, don't they? All right, now for inside my card, I'm just going to pop this panel just inside, ready for you to write. I do like to do lots of embellishment on the insides of my card, so that way I don't have to write too much when I'm writing to my person. And it looks beautiful and coordinates with the front of the card. Okay. These guys on foam so that they stand up and make an impact. And I'm going to start with the center one first over this side. And then pop my other two butterflies on either side. One, is that straight? I haven't quite stuck down my dimensionals yet, so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. Two, and last of all, some rainbow dots. Now, here's the Azure Afternoon, or we could also use Pool Party as well. But I do think I like the Azure Afternoon, just something a bit bright. And that'll also help camouflage my bits of extra ink that I don't want people to notice on my card. There we go. And one up there. And last of all there. There we go. There is beautiful butterflies, a simple card inspired by the mini catalogue, done in a totally different colourway. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll go back and answer all the comments after I'm finished. Bye now.